Today we're going to talk about what you need to do before you sell your unit or your boat, so that you can save all of your units waypoints and stuff, and so you don't really accidentally give them away to somebody else that they may use them against you at some point. So what you need to do is you need to get your old unit, which is this unit right here, okay? And this unit is a takeoff on actually on another boat, but basically it's the same idea. So this unit here has a whole series of waypoints in it, has some tracks, some settings and things like that. So I want to preserve all of that, and to do that, what you'll need for actually most units on the market is a micro SD card, 32 gigabytes or less. And I use a Gigastone. This is from Amazon. It's pretty simple, straightforward. Now, this comes in a carrier, and Lowrance units and Garmin units use the micro size cards. The Humminbird, depending on which model you use, is whether full size or the micros. But the thing is, you buy it in a carrier like this, you can plug it in your computer if you need to. You can then pull it out of the carrier just like that. So this is what we're going to use today. So let's go ahead and get started. So let me power up this unit. I've got it on a test bench here, so I pull the cover off. So let me get the unit powered up. And once I get it powered up, we will start going through the procedure. But the first thing you want to do is, again, get this micro SD card, get it ready, pull it out of the case. We're going to open up the door on the unit while this is happening. I usually try not to insert anything in the unit until it completely powers up. Once it's powered up, then we'll go to town. So we're waiting. Okay. All right. So now we've got the accept screen. Let's go ahead and accept it. All right. So now we come in here. If you look at on this unit, for example, we go to our in storage page. The storage page is a quick way to tell you how much data you got there. For example, I've got on this unit, I have 2,400 waypoints. Okay, I have 14 deleted waypoints. I have 29 trails. I would like to save those so that I can use them on my next boat or my next unit that I'm gonna put on my boat. Okay, so the way to do that is you take the card, insert it into the unit here. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna need my glasses. So, all right, so let's do this. So it goes face up, and all right, so you just push it in, make sure it clicks. You should hear a noticeable click. And now what you notice behind us, we will see that unit chip clipped out. So you push it in. Okay, so now there it is available on top. So if you look at it, there's nothing on that chip right now. So what we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is save the waypoint. So we're going to do an export. Now I know that I'm going back to a Lowrance unit. Okay, so I can use the user version data file version 6, because I'm going to from a live unit to a pro unit. But for example, if you're going, say, from a Lowrance unit to a Garmin or to a Humminbird, you want to export in the GPX format, and I'll do that in a moment. So the first thing we do is do an export. Okay, hit the export. We're going to send it to the top card. Okay, hit OK there. And I typically don't use their default names. I will X out of that. My preference is I put the a date in year, month, and day format, and then I'll say WPTS. Okay, and this is for a live 9 unit. Okay, so that's kind of the way I name things. It just tells me I did it on this date. These are my waypoints, and this is from that live 9. Sometimes this one came off a rail on a boat. A lot of times I'll say on the console or whatever. Okay, so I hit enter there. And so now it's exporting it for me. You see it's taking a while. And the reason it's taking a while, there are 19, or forget how many trails, 29 trails or something. So it does take a little bit of time to export that out. So while we're exporting it, we can go ahead and sit there and say, okay, the next thing I'm going to do with this, now I'm going to do an export of the GPX in GPX format. So now I'm going to go, so now it's all done. You notice the screen came back, hourglass is gone. We hit export. Now I'm going to do it in the GPX format, which is the GPS exchange format. Okay, I'm going to hit export. Memory card top, go back through the same procedure. Okay, 0230505 WPTS live 9. Okay, so this is our format in the GPX format. This takes a little bit longer than the USR format, but what it is it's portable. And the nice thing about being portable, again, if you need to take these waypoints to a Garmin or a Hummingbird, you can do that. Hummingbird, I believe you'll need the PC application. Basically, you take this file, import into that. You can see we're all done with the GPX format. So now at this point, I have on this card, if you look at it now, I have 2 files out there. I have one in a USR format, which is my Lowrance format file. And then I have the GPX file. So now I have my waypoints stored on this unit, okay? First thing I needed to do. Next thing I want to do, if I go back to the storage page, okay, I want to go into the settings database. I want to save the settings on this machine because I'm going to try to use everything I can on this. For example, on my 12s, there are 4 hot buttons. I set the hot buttons up so that I have them specifically say to do a standby, okay, a screenshot, and then 2 of the screens that I typically use while on the units. So I'd like to be able to not have to reprogram that. You cannot do that very easily on other brands, but on Lowrance you can. So I'm going to go into the settings database, okay? So now, as soon as you hit the settings button, it'll say export settings. We're going back to the memory top, okay? And this is my live 9, okay? So I know that if it says live 9, this is the live 9 unit here, okay? So I hit that, and I just exported. All my settings are good. So now at this point, what I will do is I'll pull that card out of there, and you do not lose this card. This is your life. You know, these are your waypoints. These are your trails. You know, this is what you've taken a long time to get a hold of. You know, so now what I'll do is I generally put this back in the carrier. Just as, you know, to make it easier, because it's harder to lose something this big than it is a little itty bitty card. Put it back in the case. Now you're all done. Don't lose this, okay? So now at this point, I want to take and clear this unit out, because now I'm going to sell this unit to somebody else. And when I give it to them, I don't want them to have my waypoints, my trails, because the last thing I want to do is I'm out there fishing stuff that it's taken me years and years to find, and now they're sitting on all my stuff. Not a good idea. So hit the pages button, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to storage, okay? We're going to check our waypoint file. See, there's our waypoints there. So first thing I'm going to do this in 2 different steps. You can do this via one page. I'm going to first delete all my waypoints, okay? And basically you want to confirm it, and I'm going to say yes, okay? So now the waypoints are all deleted. You see they're in the deleted area. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a purge on it. So now it's purged. So if I go back and say look at my waypoint file, okay, on this settings page here. All right. Go to waypoints, you see there's no waypoints left. They're all gone. I have no trails, they're all gone, okay. So this is usually good enough for everybody because you're going to sell them the unit, and if they're taken to a similar boat, you probably want to leave some of the settings. But the next step I usually do is I'll go into here, I'll go into settings, okay. You're on the system page. If you scroll up to restore defaults, come over here. I'm going to get rid of all the settings. I'm going to get rid of, just in case I forgot to do it, I'm going to get rid of the waypoints and routes. Again, make sure you back them up first. Otherwise you've lost everything, and you really don't want to do that, okay? So I'm gonna leave the device registration in there. I probably want to get rid of autopilots in case I had this hooked to a ghost trolling motor or an autopilot system on my boat. The next unit may not have it. They may be going into a completely different environment. So we hit OK, and now the unit will restart. So as it's restarting, it essentially is wiping itself out, bringing it back to basically out of the box. So if I hit the accept, you notice it didn't come into the, we gotta wait till, there we go. Okay, so now we come back. Do you want to start retail mode? No. Okay, let's configure the device. Make sure you configure the device, because I've actually seen situations where if you don't configure the device, what's gonna happen is that you may not get waypoints transferred from one machine to another, and things start messing up on you. So hit configure the device, miles per hour, lakes, regular fishing, and we're done. So now this unit is wiped out, ready to go back to its, or go to its new unit. Then what you'll do is you can do an auto source selection. If it's still in your boat, you can do it that way, okay? But since this is standalone, it really doesn't do much. So I'm just going to hit cancel that. So now we're ready to go. I'm ready to give it to somebody. You notice the map zoomed out. We're sitting here basically in New Hampshire, which is exactly where I think we should be. There's a question mark on because what happened is my satellites got restored. So that's the main thing you want to do when you get rid of either sell this unit, so you're upgrading it, okay, or maybe you sold it, and if you're upgrading it and you sold it to somebody else, make sure you clean it out, okay. But you also want to do this if you're upgrading it and keeping the unit, but you're not going to use it on your new boat. So what you're going to do is you can grab the waypoints off of it anyway. So there's really a couple of different things we're doing here, and I want to save the settings. So this point we're ready to go. So I'm just going to shut it back down. Okay. All right. So that unit's shut down. Now I'm going to unplug it from my power supply. Okay. And I'm going to put the cover back on. You always want to protect the cover. You notice this really hasn't been cleaned, but they typically get pretty dirty while you're working on them. Okay. I appreciate you guys watching this. Please like and subscribe the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.